Hey guys, welcome back to the Yak Shack podcast. We are so excited for this episode.
Oh yeah.
We have a special guest that we're going to be talking to. But before we get to that, I wanted to mention, if you are enjoying this podcast, don't forget to rate and review. Let us know how we're doing.
Please do. Tell your friends. We hope you guys have enjoyed every episode as much as we have. It's been a blast. And as we get into the sport of kayak fishing, I know we're going to convince everybody kayak fishing is the greatest sport of all time.
Of course we are.
But as we get into it, we all have different expectations of where we want to be. Our skill levels are completely different, and we want to try and get better and better. Today, we're going to talk to somebody that's been there, done that, got the T-shirt.
Exactly. Well, without further ado, let's get him on the phone now.
Okay, yep. Let's patch him in. And all right, guys. So we have our good friend and colleague, Bill Weidler, on the phone with us. How's it going, Bill?
Going good. How you guys doing?
Doing great, man.
Doing great, yeah.
Thank you so much for taking some time. I know you're busy, and we just wanted to take a few minutes to introduce you and tell folks kind of how we know you, and also pick your brain, get some fishing in there. We'll see what goes.
Yeah, sounds good.
So for those of you that don't know, we are an Impulse Lithium dealer, and we got to know Bill. Bill is the owner of Impulse Lithium, Bassmaster Elite Pro, been fishing forever, and we got to know you through Impulse because we were going to start selling lithium batteries. Did that kind of freak you out when you heard from a kayak company early like that?
Yeah, it did, because you guys were actually one of the first companies that reached out to me. So, mixed emotions, shell shocked and then excited in the same sense. So, yeah, glad that we got together and got things working.
Oh, absolutely, man. It's been unbelievable. So thank you for partnering with us and trusting in us and letting us, work with you like that. They have been flying off the shelves.
I was about to add, yeah, those things are hard to keep in stock right now. Everybody wants them, especially the power boxes. Those are awesome.
Yeah, they are hot product. And, definitely you could tell that that's where the industry is going. So, hopefully we can make an impact out there.
And so have you been in Helena your whole life, Bill?
No, but I've been in Helena for a good minute. I mean, probably, 10 or 11 years. But before that, I was in Hoover, Vestavia, went to Shades Valley High School. So I've been in Birmingham for most of my life.
Shades went to Shades Valley. Doesn't surprise me.
For everyone that doesn't know, that's his nickname that his wife calls him, and I love it.
Oh, yeah. Either Wild Bill or Shades. I've heard you all kinds of stuff. I'm sure you've been called worse.
Yeah. Yeah, I have been.
So have you always been fishing? I mean, this sounds like the obvious question, but I mean, you never know.
Yeah, I'm 51 right now, and I think I started fishing when I was about 15 years old, and really got into it a little bit more when I was around 20. I ended up buying a boat and started fishing little wildcat tournaments and putting a little bit more time on the water, and then everything just evolved from there.
Is that about the time where you were like, I'm going to be a professional fisherman. I'm going to be in this industry permanently?
I fished the opens for a few years, and it was something I just wanted to do it because it was a little bit different. It was a, multi-day format, and I wanted to look at that. So I decided why not get involved in the opens. And when I got into it, I really liked it. And then it was my third year in the opens that I decided that I wanted to really make a run at making the Elite Series. And I did qualify through the opens in 2017, and 2018 was my first year as an Elite Series pro.
Unreal, man.
That's awesome. Do you remember your first fishing tournament ever?
Oh my, it's crazy enough. Some of the bigger ones I did when I first started out was, everybody knows in this area, Mark's Outdoors.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I got involved with the tournament that they did. I thought it was a great cause because I had so many young kids involved in it. And that was one of the bigger tournaments that I started fishing, but it was, it's a team tournament deal. So the opens was the first series I fished where it was an individual event.
Heck yeah. And then what's some advice I guess you would give young anglers or folks that are young and early into their professional careers? Some
Maybe
of the local guys,
inspiring, like to be in the Elite Series.
Yeah, the first thing, you have to make sure that you're able to compete on that level, and there's no substitution for time on the water. That is the most important thing. So you want to fish as many times as you can during the week, but also fish a bunch of different places. You don't want to get caught up in always fishing one particular body of water, because when you're on the Elites, you go to 9 different stops, and they're all different, from up north to south to deep water, clear water, muddy water. So you have to be versatile in that. And that's the biggest thing I tell everybody is time on the water. And as far as sponsors is cultivating relationships now where you're already in front of the people that make decisions. So if you do make the Elite Series, you're already working with a Shimano or a Daiwa or other manufacturers, and they know you. Don't go into it just doing it all yourself. Try to reach out and get some kind of a sponsorship if you can, and start working on those relationships now, because that will follow you through your venture trying to make it to the top.
That's great.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I love that. And so, like, you being a Bama boy, what are some of your favorite places? I know it's hot. We talked about that earlier. It's really freaking hot. But what are some of your favorite places to kind of travel around Alabama in the summertime to try to beat the heat?
Yeah, as far as fishing around Alabama.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude. I love Guntersville, and that's probably one of my favorite places to go. I don't care if it's scorching hot. I go out there. Yeah, I love it.
and when I moved to Alabama, I moved to Alabama about a decade ago, and I knew about Guntersville way before I ever moved here. That's how famous it is.
Yeah, it's a crazy popular fishery. And I just spent a ton of time on it years and years ago. And, I've had pretty good success up there when the Elites go there. So, I love that place for sure.
Do you have a favorite lake across the country?
I really don't. I used to think, I have favorite lakes, but the Tennessee River, I really like the Tennessee River. Just overall, I love Lake Chickamauga. I love Guntersville. I like Pickwick. But I also learned to love smallmouth, and I learned to, love different venues, and really, I just don't have anywhere I'd say this is like my absolute most favorite place to go, because, different times of year, as all fishermen know, different lakes and different techniques work better. So, I just love fishing in general. I don't care where I go.
Yeah. I could have, almost bet you was going to say St. Clair might be your favorite lake now.
Yeah, that's got some heartstrings on it. I'm not gonna lie to you, So
and I want to give
a little background. Lake St. Clair. Yeah.
So like just our listeners, last year you won on St. Clair in the Elite Series, and I know you've already had to do this a billion times, but just hoisting that blue trophy on the stage, out of state, fishing for smallmouth. Can you put that into words? What was that like?
Yeah, it's hard to even put into words, because if you look at my track record leading up to that event, I couldn't really do too much damage on smallmouth. And I was really paying attention to some events that were going on around the same time and how they were catching them. And, a lot of it was due to the live scope I was using. And I thought to myself, well, I'm going to try this, because I was watching these guys do it. And when I was in practicing the first day, I pulled up on the spot and said, well, let me throw this live scope in the water, turn it on, and see if I can't find one and pitch to him and see if I can catch him. Well, I did, and it was like a 7-pounder. And I was like,
oh my gosh,
please tell me it's just not that easy. And I turned around, and I went and I found another one I pitched to it, and it was a 4-pounder. And I was like, okay, well, my second day of practice, I'm just going to focus on this. And I did, and I really perfected how to, where to find them, how to catch them.
Yeah.
And it all turned out for the best, man. I got the first victory on the Bassmaster Elite Series stage, and Yeah, it means a lot to me for sure.
It was unreal, man. We followed you that whole weekend.
Yeah, we were going kayak fishing that day, and we were streaming it from our kayaks on the lake.
I think I texted you something like Saturday. Was like, whoa, bro, Mercury move of the day, like 5-pounders in a row or something stupid. I mean, it was unbelievable. So congratulations again, man. I know we've told you a ton, but it was so fun watching that. And just following along with that, you know, especially knowing you like we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate it. And, you know, the best thing for me, I will say this, every elite event I've ever fished, when I come in and I check in, we can access Bass Track, and it gives us an opportunity to look and see what we've done for the day in comparison to the other field. And, you know, the final day when I checked in, I just refused to look at my phone, and my wife and my son came over to me, and I told them, I said, don't even tell me. I don't want to know, because it doesn't matter. You know, I had a good finish, and let's go from there. I had no idea I was in the lead until they called out the weight. So I was on stage, you know, and Mercer was asking me, how do you feel? And I was like, well, I know one of these guys are going to knock me out, because I truly didn't know. And,
wow.
You know, yeah, it was super crazy exciting.
Unbelievable, man. And, you know, going back to it, I mean, it seemed like electronics played a big part.
Yeah.
And so batteries are right there in line with it. People think that it's not, you know, you got to forget your battery.
You're not helping Alan any, because I've already told him I want live scope. So now this is just going to reiterate that that's what I want for Christmas.
Yeah, it's a great piece of electronics, and batteries do play a huge part in that. I can tell you, in that event, crazy enough, on the final day, I didn't run around with my big motor. So I put my trolling motor down when I got to my spot, and I stayed on my trolling motor most of the day. And towards the end of that day, my cranking battery was showing signs that it was going to die. And I actually called the tournament director, and that's why you saw me with my life vest on, because I had turned my big motor on and ran it. You know, and that's one of the reasons why we developed a lithium battery for a cranking battery, because you have so many electronics on the front of your boat, these professional anglers, that they need the capacity to get out there and fish all day. That's
true. And we found at the Yak Shack, you know, the 9 amp hour battery for people running just simple fish finders or graphs and maybe some lights. You know, it's been a perfect battery. And then along the trolling motor line, we've kind of standardized on the 54 amp hour battery, lithium phosphate from you guys. Really? And then I was going to ask you, you know, can you tell us a little bit about the Platinum series from Impulse Lithium? Because that being kind of the new technology that you guys have, I just wanted to maybe get a little sneak peek for the listeners too.
Yeah, so we first introduced a standard line of lithium batteries, pretty common to what you see out there. We use all cylindrical cells in a BMS. With our Platinum series, one thing that we had a customer demand for was knowing what their state of charge of the battery was. And there's really no way to monitor that unless you hook up a bunch of gauges, and you can do that. But we introduced a battery that has Bluetooth connectivity to it. So you can actually take and download the Impulse Lithium app on your phone, and it'll sync to your battery. And any time during the day, you can pull that app up, and it'll tell you the state of charge of your battery. You can see the amp draw coming from your battery. And it just gives you the overall health, how many times you've cycled it. I mean, it's a great app. It's a great tool for people who want to know that capacity and those things about the battery. And all of our Platinum series have that option.
That's great. And impulselithium.com. I think the Platinum series, the 60 amp hour, and what were some of the other sizes that the Platinum's going to come in?
Yeah, the Platinum series, we're only offering it in a 60 amp hour, a 100 amp hour, and a 120 amp hour, and that is the marine starting or cranking battery. Awesome. So the kayak guys, really the 100 amp hour and the 60 amp hour. I would say more the 60 amp hour than anything. Yeah. You know, I think that would run any kayak all day long, probably multiple days.
Yeah, we've already sold some from the Yak Shack already. I mean, it really is the future. You know, lithium phosphate and just lithium batteries in general. They're denser, they're smaller, they're lighter, they're more reliable. The technology is greater than your typical lead acid batteries, and we love them. So
you know, the crazy thing is a lot of people don't understand how easy they are to use. It's a direct replacement for your other one, so you don't have to change anything to use it. All you have to do is plug it up. But the great thing is the 60 amp hour battery is only 16 pounds. So you're not going to lug around a 50 or 60 pound battery. You can grab it in one hand and, walk down to the dock and put it in and go.
Yeah, that's really important for the kayak people. I mean, the lighter, the better.
And the smaller.
Exactly.
Yeah. You don't have a whole lot of room on the kayak like you do a bass boat.
Yes, that's right. That's right. And it's a super compact battery it packs a big punch. I can promise you that.
Yeah. So what's next for Impulse Lithium and the company? Because, it's relatively new.
Yeah, we're still looking at expanding into different markets. We're working on systems for RVs, campers. Also looking at golf cart systems, which we just started installing some in golf carts, and just trying to keep up with everything that's happening. Make sure our technology is at the top, so we give the best product to the customer that we can, and we always back everything by an impeccable customer warranty and customer service. We don't go and for days and not answer the phone. We try to always get back to somebody, whether it's on the weekend or not. And, our warranty on the batteries is 10 years, and I don't ask questions. I keep the guys on the water because nobody wants to spend, $700 to $1,000 on a battery. And then the company says, well, I'm not going to cover it under warranty. I just don't do that. We repair or replace them in that 10-year period. Basically, no questions asked, as long as you don't have a big hole in the side.
Sure. Yeah. And we can attest to that too. You guys have been amazing, especially when folks are getting used to their equipment or they're learning best practice for it, maintenance for it, replacing parts for it, anything. You guys have been amazing. So kudos to you and the team, the whole company in general, man. We're just super proud of you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Did you always think that you were going to be an entrepreneur like this, or is it kind of something you just stumbled into?
Before I started fishing professionally, I owned a business that actually my father started it, and me and my brothers ran it, and we built it up and sold it. So I had run a business or two myself. I had a home building, residential home building company that I operate as well, and I just saw a need for it because I was in the industry, and I knew some companies had come out with some products, but I wanted to be one of those guys. I was entrenched in the industry. I know what the guys need that are on the water because I'm fishing at the top level. So I wanted to pass that on to customers that can have faith in me to give them what they need to get out there and do what I do.
And you guys have a great team too, your professional staff and a lot of the guys that you're adding on to the Impulse Lithium team. I mean, you guys are getting pretty formidable, man.
Yeah, we got some real big names right now. If you look on our website under the Team Impulse, you'll see Brandon Polnick, Boyd Duckett, Frank Talley, Lee Livesey. I mean, we go after some guys that, they're real good fishermen. They need to have products that will withstand the torture that they put them through, and that's why we pick them, and they love us, and they'll be out there representing us again next year.
Yeah, I like that you're in an industry that you're passionate about and that you're so familiar with. It's just like a lot like Alan and myself, we're in the kayak industry because we enjoy it. And I think that makes such a huge difference it really ripples down to the customers because you have that passion.
Yeah, we want to be perfect partners for you guys too, man.
Yeah. I mean, I can see a good future with us. And I like that point you make too, because when you're entrenched in an industry and you're doing what you love, you're the first to recognize an issue and jump on it. I'm not a guy that sits back here and waits on feedback from 10 or 15 guys, and then I don't know how to process it because I really don't understand what they're going through. But I'm on the water and I get it, and I understand the importance of it, which means that we can remedy any situation a little bit quicker, I feel. So far, so good, man. I mean, the customers love us, and we're just going to keep putting product out there.
That's what's up, man. And, you guys have done an awesome job. We've got to get you out in the kayaks with us, though.
Yes, absolutely.
I know, dude. We've been talking about it. We got to go.
Well, this time of year is so tough, too, because of the heat. So give the listener, might really give me, but give the listeners all the pointers you have for fishing
hot summer bass fishing in Alabama.
in the heat. Yes.
Oh my gosh, hot summer. Go early if you want to, fish
Smart.
for top water, or find lakes that have vegetation, because everybody knows that grass or vegetation through the photosynthesis process cools and creates oxygen, which will keep bass in the grass. I love grass, so you can go up to Gunnersville. It grows
Awesome.
in 10 to 15 feet, so you can fish that all the time. But if you're not on a lake that has grass and it's primarily rock, once it gets hot, you got to go a little bit deeper or get around some docks and some shade.
Dude, I love it. Yeah, so cover, shadow, shade, any kind of overcast days.
I love that you said that about grass, because I think I've read that somewhere where, anywhere that holds that vegetation is really good. And, I guess Alan and I are really bad about, in the summertime, we don't really change it up much either. We don't really change up our technique too much. And I think that's where we've been getting skunked. That was a couple episodes ago. We talked about how we've been skunked like the last 3 or 4 times.
Trying to change it up, Bill.
Yeah, we're trying to.
Yeah, you got to change it up.
I've thrown everything but the kitchen sink at them.
That's right. You just got to keep changing until you find what they want. Then you'll get them.
And I think you had a good point too with it being hot. The fish and bass really they can't breathe as well in really hot water, and so when they are around vegetation, throughout photosynthesis, come on. That's great.
I feel like I was in science class again.
Yeah, everybody learned a little bit of trivia today.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's those things that you look at that, that really, when you're trying to get to that next level, you have to understand all this.
No doubt.
There's a science behind a lot of it too. So, I've spent hours and hours on the computer researching and figuring out how to catch them. And that's where that pays off too.
And I think that every little bit helps. The weather, the conditions, overcast, did it rain the day before? Is it muddy? You got to pay attention to everything. Is the lake you're going to very, very clear typically? I think downsizing a little bit has been a pretty good tip. Downsizing your line, downsizing your lures a little bit, fish a little slower, pretty common.
That's right. Yep, that's exactly right.
Is there anything that you want to leave, with our listeners? And just again, Bill Weidler, Impulse Lithium, and we wanted you guys to get a chance to meet him. Alabama guy. We're business professionals now and local entrepreneurs, so we wanted to give you the floor, man. Is there anything you want to leave our listeners with?
I'll recap the conversation a little bit to you guys out there fishing that want to make a career out of this. Put time on the water and do a lot of research. That'll get you there. And then make sure you got good equipment, and don't, cheat on your batteries, because people say they're not important, because when you're on the Elite Series or professional fishing and you make a 100-mile run and your trolling batteries don't work, that's the most important thing to you right there. So, I say check out impulselithium.com. We'll work with you to help build a system. You guys check me out. We're actually on Facebook and Instagram too under Impulse Lithium. And you guys, if you want to follow me and check out what I do, you can go to Bill Weidler Fishing on Facebook and Instagram, or I have a website. Everything is updated on that. You can check it out. Tight lines, and we're going to see y'all out there somewhere this year.
I love it, bro. Thank you so much. And we'll share all of your links and your handles as well when we premiere the episode. And so thank you so much again, Bill. Seriously.
Yeah, this has been a blast. I learned a lot.
Yeah, not a problem. I enjoyed it. Anytime y'all want to talk again, just give me a shout.
We will do, brother. And hey, and tight lines to you too, man.
Yeah,
we'll all get out there seeing fish.
All right, buddy. We'll see y'all.
All right, see you, bro.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
What a guy. What a guy. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was a great interview.
Yeah,
enjoyed it.
Thank you, Bill. And I couldn't agree more with everything you said. I think that you hit the nail right on the head. We all do want to get out there and catch some more fish, obviously, this summer. So you guys be patient, slow it down, and go hit your favorite fishing holes. Don't be afraid to get out there and fish.
And maybe you learned something from this podcast. Hopefully you did.
I know we did, and it's been really fun. So everybody have an amazing week and weekend.
And if you want us to interview or you have any suggestions for future podcasts, don't forget you can reach out to us at podcast@theyakshack.com.
You can call or text the office line as well. Email Jessica and myself. We love the feedback. We love everything. And thank you guys again for all the support.
Y'all have fun now.
Have a great week. Thank you again.